Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At the beginning, I would like to thank the organizing committee for organizing such wonderful event. And I would like to thank all participants for this conference, for their attendance. And I would like to welcome you for the first session in day 2. And today in this session, we are going to focus on the technology impact. As you know, nowadays we are living in a digital era. Everybody is talking about AI, and this digital era is very important to help the developing countries, and especially in Yemen. So today we have two distinguished speakers who will share their impactful opinion and ideas about this topic. We have engineer Zafar, the researcher and senior manager of e-learning at the International Medical University. Will discuss the technology-based solution for education in developing countries with a special focus on Yemen. And we have the engineer Sarah, the CEO of Yenderken Consultant and Training Company, will present technology-driven educational project that not only address Yemen's need, but can also adapt it to other countries as well. So without any further ado, I would like to invite the engineer Hassanin Zafar to start his speech.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. I would like to thank the organizers of this conference. And can I have my slides on? It's really amazing. This is my first time here. I used to live in Saudi and got interaction with a lot of Yemenis when I was doing my master's in USM. It was like, yesterday was a bit very emotional, like when I saw the videos, I could not sleep actually. I got 5 children and it's hard to see, But inshallah, with all these efforts, we can change. In Malaysia, we say we bole, So let's start my talk. Nothing will be new. You already will hear or heard already yesterday, but it depends. It's like cooking a cake. Ingredients are same. One chef can cook very nicely and taste is different. Same thing in my talk. Very quickly, distance education, and I will share the spectrum and how we could use infrastructure ingredient, content, hardware, facilities, and students, well-being of students. And don't forget the teachers all. They are amazing, Without salary, very hard, but may Allah, give them best reward, So my focus in this 10 minutes plus talk, how we can enhance or leverage on technology and how we could use limited resources to generate impactful learning experiences. Okay. By the way, these slides you can see at the bottom is developed by AI, but I have checked it. Don't completely rely on AI because sometimes AI can go very wrong. I even counter-checked with one of my friend from Yemen, and statistically is accurate. So more than 4.5 million children are outside of the school. So how we can we can push content, learning experiences where they are. And there are a lot of damage learning spaces. So how we could actually reconstruct. And girls disproportionately affected also, they are outside more than males, How we could address that. And there are limited resources, And I heard yesterday that there are 2 shifts, sometimes 3 shifts, which is good. So when we are building infrastructure, we should think of multi-purpose, okay? So these are the key points. We should personalize learning. Different learner, each and every learner have a different requirements. So how technology could assist us. Then make sure it's sustainable. It's not that easy. I think yesterday a lot of our colleagues here told us that it's not that easy to get fund. And getting governance, transparency, and sustainability is very critical. Connectivity issues. So I will share some examples and how we could use these technologies to overcome these connectivity issues. Electricity challenges, I'm happy that yesterday you mentioned also providing solar panels. I will share some other ideas. Learning spaces limitation, learning centers. I think we should focus on building academies, and move towards more vocational trainings. What is the job market requirement? Then don't forget faculty and learner, how we could support them. And there are a lot of tools. Tools, I'm talking about hardware and software. Then comes in the content, how we could engage overseas Yemenis to help us to contextualize the content. Make sure it's aligned with your culture. How we could actually convert that existing open educational resources, which can be aligned to your own culture and your own requirement. And last but not the least is infrastructure. Very important. Okay? So very quickly, empowering education through technology. Same thing, content. We can focus on facilities, creating conducive environment. Just imagine, like most of the videos you have seen, they don't have chairs, At our university here, if aircon is not working, we cancel the class. Cannot tahan, tawale tahan. But I just imagine how. I lived in Saudi, I know. When 40 degree, you cannot touch the sand, And students were sitting there. So how we could make conducive environment for them. Then comes in student support, well-being of student, I think we should focus more on their personal issues. If personal issues is solved, they can focus more on teaching and learning, Then comes in hardware, provide necessary tools. To me here, tool, even the chalk and the blackboard or whiteboard and the marker, all these are tools. How we could provide that. And infrastructure, building the digital backbone for education. Yes, it's costly, but once we build, the impact will be very high. We could reach, cross each and every village, of Yemen, once we build that infrastructure. Now, connectivity issues, when we are talking about distance education, yes, we can build community-wise hotspot. Nowadays, if I have phone, everybody have phone, you can on hotspot. One phone can connect maybe 50 students, So we can build that. Then comes in mobile broadband. Discuss with telecommunication companies. I heard Starlink is there, available in Yemen. You can discuss with government and how we could actually make sure that for teaching and learning, it's available for general population. Offline access, that's something we should focus on. Build content application, you don't need internet. Build content, you don't need internet. Chromebook, you can push all your curriculum onto that laptop. One laptop, one school, sufficient. Start with that. As we added more resources, we get more funding, we can add in more resources. Then comes in satellite internet. I think Starlink I already mentioned, or maybe you have your own local or national level satellite. I even saw some satellites, just now on the houses, makeshift houses. So that satellite can be used even for teaching and learning purpose. Now, coming electricity challenge, thanks to all the funders who have actually providing solar panel, very powerful. Then we should think of efficient technologies, energy efficient technologies. And think of battery powered devices like laptop. You can charge when you have electricity and then you use. Nowadays, even interactive screens are battery powered, You can use that. Now, this just to share, I was actually searching one of the success story in Hadar al-Maut, where they have actually used solar panel and converted. This, I think, mostly girls' school, and by changing this, the student number increased. They added multiple shifts. Just putting a solar panel in the school changed the environment for teaching and learning. Having cooler rooms with fans and a lot of lights, even in the night also you can have classes. So this is what is a scalable model I think we should apply. Now, accessing the root causes of learning spaces shortages, I think most of the presenters already highlighted. So we should build and focus on community centers. Maybe you have already community centers for multi-purpose. We can use those community centers for teaching and learning. Like this hall, we can use for teaching and learning also. Any hall, any space, think of how we could use for teaching and learning. Then comes in mobile learning units. You can get old buses, convert them into a mobile classroom equipped with all these technologies and move around wherever there is a need. Then last one actually is the school, how we can make sure that each school have partnership with other schools. Sometimes certain schools are less utilized. So how we can shift certain students to those to make sure that resources are adequately utilized. Now, enhancing student learning, you can set priority according to your own requirements and available resources. But all these are very important. Digital literacy training. Our students must know how to connect to internet, how to seek information, how to verify and check whether it's accurate or not. Basic computer skills could assist us. Online safety training. Once we go into online, there is high risk of scams, high risk of fraud. How we could make sure our learner and teachers, they are aware of this and make sure once they are online, they are safe. Information literacy, from where they can seek accurate information, how they can actually access to this information, and don't forget motivation and engagement. There are a lot of suffering, as I mentioned earlier. Focus on their family issues. If they solve that, we able to reduce that issues, they can focus more on. Then build interactive learning activities. We are still using old books, I think we should change mindset. Come up with more, I will share in next slide, workbooks, not books. Instructions where each and every learner will have that book, workbook. They can write, they can annotate, they can make notes. That will bring them to have more belonging and motivation, Personalized learning and community building, work as a community. Sometimes the elders in the community can teach better than, sorry, with all due respect of our professors, because they know the root cause. They can actually have more impact. So work as a community. 5 minutes more or finish? Okay, thank you for the reminding. Enhance education through learning centers. Again, I focus more on build academy, and ask your teachers, they should, like train teachers, train the trainer concept. Every teacher should train 5 more teachers. And those 5 teachers can train more 5 teachers. If you build one academy, ask teachers once they earn revenue or they are sufficient, they can build more academies. And school-based learning centers and mobile units. Okay, these are the content which we should focus on. Don't underestimate existing open educational resources. I am pretty much sure you have heard of Khan Academy. Khan Academy is open access. No need to recreate content. Just make sure, download those material, make sure it's available on the laptop. If you don't have internet, let them access. Millions of students getting benefit of these open educational resources. And please do incorporate, I have actually seen yesterday, a lot of content creators. Let them design multimedia content and build content repositories. So it's like you have a laptop, copy all the material which is related to that school on your laptop. That laptop can be acting as a repository. And localization of content. As I mentioned, we need to contextualize, make it align to culture and what is happening there, what is the requirement. And the last but not least is self-instructional material, but not online, printed. So that booklet is self-explanatory. They don't need teacher. How many of you actually bought smartphone and open a manual before owning it? Nobody actually. They just own it because the way they design it, we don't need instruction. Could we come up with our material? We don't need teacher. We give that material in a printed form. If there is hardware or software available in a soft copy, let learner go through this material. Okay, this is where which content delivery platform should be chosen for distance. Learning management systems should be there. Mobile learning apps. Everybody have now mobile phones. So let's target one mobile phone per school or per teacher and push the educational apps on that mobile phone. So you don't need to worry about electricity because it's charged. You use that, and if you can get a Wi-Fi connection, you can actually connect to it. And podcasts or broadcast media. I discussed with my Yemenis friend, they are using FM radios. Let's use radios for teaching and learning. Television channels, for open universities. And best approach is blended and hybrid. Digital learning solutions, we can focus on refurbished computers. We should, I think I would request, like if you have an old computer, donate to these organizations. They can send to Yemen or other developing countries, Like we are targeting here high-end computers, So what happened to our old phones, our old hardware? Let's donate. So focus on refurbish. Thin client is even a very light computer, which can just show information, no processing. Temporary access for laptops, loan the machine, distribute these laptops, and those who can afford, they can bring their own. And mobile data subsidies, like discuss with your telcos, if they can give free internet for teaching and learning purpose. That's all. This is my YouTube channel if you want to know more and some more about my blog and all that. This is what I covered overall. So again, content or ingredient will remain same. It's how we cook them together for our learners. And I can guarantee, and I have a strong faith, for last 30 years, I'm using technology. A lot of my senior professors, they resign when COVID come. They say, we cannot, we have to face students. But some of them, I actually converted them to online digital professor. And with the help of AI, we can convert ourselves into multiple avatars or agents. I will end with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Ja'far, for this presentation. Actually, a lot of ideas, and they are all very easy to be implemented. Doesn't need a huge cost or such big effort, but need some sincere people to implement these ideas and simple technologies. As we can see, in some time, one mobile phone can connect 50 devices. So very simple technology, very easy to be implemented. Hopefully, they will find way to Yemen. So without any further ado, we will move to the second speaker, Engineer Sarah. And the presentation title is Technology-Driven Educational Project. And also the focus will be on Yemen. So Engineer Sarah is a CEO of Yonder King Consultant and Training Company. So inshallah, after the second presenter, maybe we can open for a Q&A session for 2 or 3 questions at the end of the session. Okay, go ahead, Sister Sarah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I want to start with something a mentor shared with me a long time ago, and that is, you do not present a problem without a solution. Otherwise, that's going to be a waste of everyone's time and resources. And so my mission for today is to share a problem along with a practical solution. We've already seen a lot of what we've seen yesterday was very horrific. And so we do understand that there is a problem. I am not sure about you guys, but I have consumed a lot of information yesterday. Possibly that my brain has almost exploded from so much information that we had to consume. And so we understand that there is a problem. Like 101% confirmation on that. There's no denial of the problem in Yemen. And so, as I said in the beginning, my purpose is to share a practical solution. And you see, the kicker is not really saying that there's a problem. It's identifying or clearly stating a solution. You see, everyone can complain, but very few people can put the right solution in hand. Let me say that again. Very few people can put the right solution. So the question is, what is the right solution actually? In my understanding, I think that we can't put a solution without understanding the problem in its core, not just on the surface level. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you with some evidence, and we can discuss based on that. So here's a modern-day phone, right? You recognize it? And this is a phone from 150 years ago. Okay, stay with me. Now, this is a car from today. And this is a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Okay, now get this. This is a classroom. This is a classroom from today. And this is a classroom from 150 years ago. Now, isn't that a shame? For more than a century, nothing has changed. And yet we claim to prepare students for the future. But with evidence like that, we must ask, are we actually preparing students for the future, or are we preparing them for the past? So what is the real solution? Well, look, we don't really need more robot students who can just repeat what the teacher says. The world has now progressed, and in my opinion, I think what we really need, or what the world needs, is people who can think critically, independently, and more creatively. But most importantly, who can adapt to, or who have the real life skills. This is what the world today needs. And I know probably someone from the audience would jump and say something like, yes, we do need that, but we don't even have a school entity in some places in Yemen. So how do we start with progressing so fast like that? Well, you see, what I see in Yemen, there's a lot of things I didn't really know about. I mean, because I've never been there, I know a few things, but from what we seen yesterday, you understand it's a very big problem. And so we don't, like common sense, we don't offer a cough medication for someone with cancer, right? See, with the problem, like what's happening in Yemen, which is a very, very severe problem, we need extraordinary solutions. Extraordinary problems need extraordinary solutions. And we understand, like we don't need someone else to tell us, one more person to tell us that the problem is the lack of resources. We understand that. But more particularly, it's the lack of the right resources. And so, what we propose here, or as a solution, in my opinion, it has the potential, if we use it correctly, to transform the lives of thousands and more in Yemen. Now, what we're proposing to do is to connect thousands of students to qualified teachers. Now, from what you've seen yesterday, it's not really part of the problem is that we don't have a school, but more so we don't have the right teacher. And when we have the right teacher, oftentimes they're not qualified. And so if we have the opportunity to connect these students with experts, not just teachers, experts from all over the globe, then I think we have a resource, an undeniable resource. The solutions can also extend, or the results can also extend to connecting these students to modern teaching methods. Okay, sorry. We can also remove the location barrier. As you've already seen, that thousands of students have a transportation issue because they can't, the school has already been destructed. And so if we can connect them to resources that can remove the restriction of location, we also have a very great resource. The solution can also extend to offering real-life training programs to unprivileged communities, because it's not the problem always of the lack of teacher, but it's oftentimes the lack of an experienced or expert. Now I'm going to present you with a few solutions that can represent what I just said. In my opinion, I think some of these solutions, if employed correctly, can solve a big problem. The first one is digital learning platforms. Now, these are platforms that apply online learning combined with LMS, which is one of the most widely used learning platforms, to offer education and course syllabuses to students from all over the world. But most importantly, we are offering an alternative way of learning. We are moving far from traditional learning methods that has been used for over a century, and now moving to a more alternative way, which is a more upgraded way of teaching. Our vision is also to apply a learning method with this technology that is in alignment with the ministry or with the principles and quality measures of the Ministry of Higher Education. So this is the first solution. But who is this actually for? Well, look, our plan is to start with the most unprivileged and then to extend accordingly. So we want to start with the Yemeni students who are affected by the war and extend gradually to the displaced students, and to include a gradual expansion, so much so that it can include the greatest majority of people who can benefit from this technology. Now, what can the experience look like for the people who can use this technology? Well, they can get modern learning. They can get a customized learning. What do I mean by a customized learning? Well, customized learning is a learning experience that is customized according to a child or a student needs. We understand, and science tells us, that no two people or no two brains are the same, even identical twins. So how come we can, or the more practical, the more common sense solution is to customize the learning experience to something that can suit each and every person's need, because they're different. We also extend this opportunity to offer opportunities to teachers who are underpaid by allowing them to use this platform. And for the most part, it's going to be at a lower cost in terms of transportation, the resources, but they're going to get a more upgraded experience. Now, what does this solve? Well, this solves a lot of problems. First of all, we are offering an opportunity to students whose school has been disrupted. We are solving the problem of lack of qualified teachers, because by employing this platform, we are only collecting the qualified teachers. We're also solving a transportation issue. The second solution is a scholarship management system. Now, what is this actually? Well, this is a platform that starts from everyone knows what's a scholarship management system, but what we have right now in Yemen is a paper-based. And so what's the cost for that? What's the consequence for that? Well, there's a lot of consequence. First of all, there's a lack of organization, but more so, there is a very big corruption in terms of the people who are handling this. And so when we have a higher level of a management system, everything can be audited, and the student can get access to what they really deserve. Who can get this? Well, first of all, it's a more systematic way to support students in Yemen and in various countries. There is a systematic monitoring to prevent any form of corruption, and we offer equal opportunities without preferring any type of students. We are also, as I mentioned, eliminating corruption in fund distribution. The third, and in my opinion, one of the most important programs, is youth training. Youth training programs, why do we say the youth training programs are most important? And from what we heard yesterday, teachers are underpaid. Well, look, in my opinion, I think, it's not a practical solution, but a doctor should be paid the same as in an equal salary as a teacher. Because the doctor can reach the physical part of the student, the patient. But a real teacher can actually reach the heart of a student. And so when we offer these training programs, we are really not only benefiting the students, but we are preparing a generation of experts who can really reach the heart of a student. The problem is, we understand that Middle Eastern people, but let's be more specific, Yemen people, have an unequal advantage. What do I mean by that? Well, they have advanced thinking. I've been to various countries and I understand that, but the problem is that they do not have the resources. So they do have some of the most brilliant minds, but they don't have the resources. And so that in itself results in a brain drain. Probably know what that is, where countries in the West can attract these minds. And so if we have these minds, if we already have them, why don't we train them instead of, allowing them to be drained to some other foreign country? So it's our duty to invest in such minds by training them in a proper way so that they can benefit the student. How does the training program? Our goal is always to start small and expand gradually. So first of all, our mission is to offer an employment opportunity for some of the displaced but brilliant minds who can actually benefit from this opportunity, so it's two-sided. We're going to start, as I said, small and expand accordingly. So our goal is to reach 30 displaced youths and train them. We want to train them with real life skills, as I mentioned in the beginning. This is not a traditional way of learning. This is real life skills that can adapt to modern day technology and what we actually need. And lastly, I want to say one more thing. I don't really believe much in old school, but I do believe in people. And if we can customize a lot of things, such as cars, healthcare, and Facebook pages, then it's our duty to do the same for education in Yemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Sarah, for this wonderful talk. Another solutions easy to be implemented. I can see that the first speaker focused on the technology-based solution. The second speaker focused on the management-based solutions. Of course, we need both technology-based as well as the management-based.